Welcome back. All right, so I was going to do the recap video. I got a funny feeling people are waiting for a trade video instead. So here's the trade video. Now, I've also seen the reaction. Toronto got fleeced. What an overpayment. Yada, 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 yada. The reality is that for Toronto, this might be their best chance. And I've seen the scoffing. I've seen, well, they're not going to beat Tampa Bay or Boston. The effort has to be made. Ryan O'Reilly, really good face-off guy who will be playing, I would think, third-line minutes in Toronto. Can also play the wing if he needs to. He's a versatile forward. In 40 games with St. Louis, 12 goals, 7 assists, 19 points. Now, Toronto not with a lot of cap space, and so there's some retention in here, and we'll get to that. Noel Acciari also going to Toronto, forward, depth forward, who's honestly had a decent season, 54 games, 10 goals, 8 assists, 18 points. Josh Pillar also being included in this. He is a 21-year-old prospect who plays for Saskatoon currently. So odds are that's probably just an additional move made for whatever reason. These things do happen. Either Toronto thinks they found themselves a diamond in the rough, or it's a player for another player. So going to St. Louis, Mikhail Abramov. He has not played in the NHL as of yet. He's a forward, playing with the Marlies this year in 34 games. 6 goals, 10 assists, 16 points. Adam Gaudette going to St. Louis. Gaudette has been around the league, hasn't he? With the Marlies this year, he didn't actually play for Toronto at all. In 40 games with the Marlies, 20 goals, 14 assists, 34 points. So odds are Gaudette probably going to get called up by St. Louis, probably going to get some fourth-line time and be a fill-in because they've traded out 2 forwards with O'Reilly and Acciari on the way out. And maybe Abramov gets a look too, right? Maybe they'll bring him up and just see what he can do. Also, they've acquired the 2023 first-round pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs. We knew it was going to be a first-rounder. A 2023 third-round pick from the Ottawa Senators. And a 2024 second-round pick from Toronto as well. Now, in order to make this work, as I said, there had to be retention. So St. Louis has retained half of O'Reilly's salary for the rest of the season. And the Minnesota Wild actually acquired O'Reilly and then traded him to Toronto because they had to retain some money as well. Minnesota has cap space. They can weaponize this. They just did. They retained 25% of O'Reilly's salary. So for Toronto, it's 25% of a cap hit. So that, I mean, it's funny too because we don't talk about, does that count as cap circumvention? Technically, no, but it kind of feels like it should. And in exchange for them taking on a quarter of that cap hit, the Minnesota Wild get the 2025 fourth-round draft pick from the Toronto Maple Leafs. So overall, I think this is a trade. I'm wearing Toronto because I like this, and I know there's people who say it's an overpayment, but I like what Toronto's doing here. I think that picking up O'Reilly, picking up Acciari, and not losing anybody off their current roster to do it, not being over the cap, that's big, because if you're over the cap, well, if you watch the Edmonton Rangers game, you know the Oilers were playing a player short. So, really, I think this is a deal that works pretty well. St. Louis obviously gets very high value for Ryan O'Reilly, but O'Reilly, a Conn Smythe winner in 2019, one of the better two-way forwards in the game at his peak. He's had a rough year, but he's been better. I'll say he's been better over the last month than where he was before that. But yeah, so there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And I guarantee you there will be more deals to be had from here. It feels like the arms race has been joined, that the Rangers got to go with Tarasenko. Now we see O'Reilly to Toronto. And we'll see what other pieces fall. Of course, Horvat to the Islanders. We'll see what other pieces fall into place. But yeah, I like the deal for all 3 teams. I only give the edge to Toronto because they're going for it. And I know they're not going to beat Tampa. They're not going to beat Boston. This is the whole narrative. But teams have changed that narrative before. So we'll see what happens. Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.